Hello, my name is Jeff Jamilo, and today I'm going to talk about traditions. Traditions are very interesting because we kind of have them. We don't know why. They're passed down from generation to generation. It's a little quirky things. It can also be societal. We have a lot of traditions like Christmas, Easter, the Easter egg hunt, Christmas tree. We really don't understand any of these. We don't really, you know, a tradition is nothing more than something passed down from one generation to another for them to remember something. You can think of it kind of that way. But a lot of it involves, you could say, your intention. But we'll get to that in a minute. Nowadays, people look around and think, well, why do we care about any of this? Who cares about tradition? I don't know. A lot of traditions are kind of stupid, Oh, what tradition of marriage, tradition of this, that. I go, but is it really stupid? Let me pick one. Just throw an arbitrary one out there. Back in the day, one of the steps of dating is you used to go out and date. Because when you dated, you only dated one person. It's not like you still played the field. So I guess you were official. I guess I don't know what that is. When you said you decided to date someone, it was kind of exclusive. You and them dated, and you didn't date anyone else. Just weirdness. None of that weirdness. But usually, the next step after dating, when you decided you wanted to move in together, you'd buy a dog. Not a cat, a dog. Interesting. And usually it was the woman's idea. And you sit there and you go, well, that's stupid. No, actually that's tradition. Because traditionally, the woman is actually giving you a test as a male. It's saying, hey, I'm going to bring this third party in. Just a dog. Okay, this dog has a certain set of attributes. Such as this dog will never grow up. Oh, you could train it a little bit, but it's still going to be as crazy as the day it is long. The day you get it to date for 15 years, it's a 15-year commitment, 10 to 15-year commitment on this dog. But over the years, people have realized that, and I think there's about 90 to 95% accuracy, that how a person treats a dog is how they'll treat a child. Check the profilers. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Profilers even look for this. For animal abuse. So therefore, if I pick a guy, or in my case, say a gal, if I pick a gal, and we get a dog, and she treats the dog horribly, I pretty much know how she's going to treat a child. Because this dog is never going to grow up. This dog is literally going to be needy. And I don't seem really heavily needy. It's not a cat. A cat is an independent animal. As long as you go over and, feed it, with it, leave food in its dish, it'll eat it. And you have, there's no maintenance to the cat other than emptying its cat box. Dog, oh yeah, man, it needs love, it needs attention. But how you treat that dog is how you treat a child. And how you deal with problems with the dog is how you deal with problems with her or in your relationship and the child. People forget these small things. So that's why I said, let's get rid of all those. It's like, do things in the right order. You'll find out that life's a little bit easier. I see an awful lot of single females with dogs. Is there a relationship there? Most women who get dogs are in a relationship when they have them. And these dogs are generally pretty big, like, 8, 9, 10 years old. So they've been cast out before, I guess. But the good news is tradition does work when you let it. There's also something, like differing traditions. Especially if you come from a Christian and you come from a Jewish kind of lifestyle. That was part of one of the things I deal with in not necessarily my family, but my uncle and my aunt. My aunt is actually Christian. My uncle is actually Jewish. I think my aunt practices more than my uncle does, but I can't say either way. I just know he was Jewish and she was Christian. So there was a little bit of a blending of even traditions. I can't say, it was easy. When I was married, I had no traditions whatsoever. Our traditions was here's a present on Christmas Eve, go away. And Christmas Day we go visit your parent. We go visit grandparents. That's it. My wife had a very different set of traditions. French Canadian. Oh man, it was gifts. It was a whole thing. I actually, oddly enough, welcomed some traditions because there's got to be something more than here's a gift. Tomorrow we're going to grandma's at 10 o'clock. Didn't even bother going to church. But there's a lot of people at times there's differing traditions. And I do think we should actually constantly be changing traditions. Crazy as it sounds. So I think it's good for us. Example is, I decide I like turkey. Matter of fact, a quick story on turkey. I worked with a man who literally had turkey once a year at Thanksgiving. It was a coworker. We were poor. We had an extra freezer. When turkeys went on sale, we bought 4 or 5 of them, threw them in the freezer. So every time they went on sale because of a seasonal holiday or after the season, we picked up what we could. Saved the money. So literally every other month we had turkey. And when my coworker would smell my little bowl of turkey that I had left over from, brought into work for lunch, he would come over like a dog with his tongue hanging out, like, oh yeah, hey, it's turkey. Like, yeah. Does your wife make? Oh, yeah, we only get it on Thanksgiving. It's like, okay. Then why don't you just go make it then, Well, I don't want to make it. So then I decided to actually, every time I was going to bring that in, I actually brought an extra bag for him so he can go over and wolf it down. Turkey. But that's the turkey story. But what if I decide, I do love turkey, and that I wanted turkey in July? In the Bible, it talks about people, having a gathering, and then some people didn't show up, and they brought some poor people in. Hey, who's to say, hey, in July, I want to have Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving actually can be any day. I can be thankful today, I can be thankful tomorrow, but I want to be thankful in July. Or I want to be thankful in August. Heck, I can be thankful on the 5th of every month. Whatever you want to do. But that's a tradition. Start it. What's funny about traditions is they sound corny until someone actually copies you. That's not so corny anymore. People come over and say, oh, that was kind of a good idea. I think I'm going to do that. Hey, whatever. You're sharing. I kind of just laugh, say, secretly pat yourself on the back. Thanks. Thanks for the kudos. Yeah, enjoy. But it could be anything. A lot of times what's funny about traditions, example is if you look at the Christmas tree. A Christmas tree, oddly enough, you could say it's an occult symbolism and all this stuff, and it has nothing to do with Christianity, yada yada, blah 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 blah. None of that really. Well, here's the only reason it matters. What is your intention with that Christmas tree? When I think of the Christmas tree, I think of my whole family together, happy. Okay, so my intention in this is, with this Christmas tree, we're going to all be happy. Doesn't really matter if it happens or not. Just, it's my intention. So as long as that intention is out there, it's not the more occultist, nefarious, nefarious intention. You look at the other way around and say, okay, well, if I don't have any intention at all, it's whatever the original creator of the tradition's intention. And that could be, to worship Satan for all I know. So which do you want? Do you want your own intention, or do you want to not have an intention and take over something? It's kind of like the logic of how they kind of like made the Easter Bunny. You have one or two ways you can look at it. You can look at it and say, well, you're celebrating, Easter. Or you can look at it as I'm celebrating, bunnies. Why would you have eggs? There's a lot of weirdness in the Easter Bunny thing. I go, but at the same time, it's like, well, what is your intention there? Is my intention that my children have fun looking for eggs? Back to, I could do that in July. I could do it in June. I could do it in January if I wanted to. It depends. I said it's just traditions are very funny because people are very kind of religious, so to speak, on some traditions. There's a lot of traditions, even in the church, which I find to be bad. I'm not going to go into them here, but there's something very creepy to me. I grew up Roman Catholic, so almost everything that the priest wore was crazy, or the Monsignor, or whatever he was. It looked very satanic to me almost all the time. And so I wasn't even versed in satanic stuff, but looking back, thinking about it, I go, there's a lot of symbolism in there. A lot more than we care to admit. So, makes me question everything at that point. But we're back to there's a reason why I don't really trust organized religion. Because anything organized by man is corrupt. Three people could read the Bible and get three different interpretations of that same Bible. And that's actually pretty creepy, but that's very common. Just like the Bible generally is used by the book for good. But at the same time, there's also 1% of the Catholic Church, or actually the Christian Church, who actually use that as an offensive weapon for spell work. Psalms against people. And they think that's all righteous. Remember, do not judge. So yeah, there's a lot of creepy stuff out there. But I would say that from a tradition perspective, we perhaps need to go back to a lot of traditions or make new ones. But at least make sure there's good intention behind those new ones. The saying Thirsty Thursday, where'd that come from? Well, it could be a drinking thing, but it came from somewhere. Pretty good. Or is it Taco Tuesdays or something? Start your own tradition. You'd be surprised. You might like it. Thank you for listening.